Moving on to some cycling news. Now, we're joined now in studio by team principal of MTN Qhubeka, that is Douglas Ryder, to chat about the La Vuelta and just the successes that the team has had so far. Thank you so much for speaking to us and braving the traffic. Terrible timing. Just give us an idea of what the team has been up to this year.
So it's our second year as a second division team in the world of cycling, and We've actually had a great season so far. We've won 11 races so far. We were actually second today in the Tour of Denmark in a stage in Denmark, which is pretty cool. And it's one of our final preparation races for a historical moment coming in 2 weeks' time when we start La Vuelta Espana, the final Grand Tour of the year as Africa's first ever team in a Grand Tour. So it's really hectic. We're all a bit scared, and you know, with that big event that's coming up, and all the big riders in the world are there. Chris Froome and all the top riders are there, and to have an African team take part is going to be huge for African cycling.
It's absolutely exciting, and we'll get to the La Vuelta Espana in a minute. Let's just start from the beginning. How difficult was it to actually start a competitive African team and take them to the best races internationally?
Sure. How much time do you have? It's No, I mean, we had fantastic support from MTN. They've believed in this dream since the beginning, since 7 years ago. So if it wasn't for the support from our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to set up the infrastructure and I guess put this puzzle together. And then getting the support from all the national federations around Africa and obviously with the South African Cycling Federation that have supported us with riders and with the dream of trying to take an African team to this high level. So, but setting it all up in Europe and building the infrastructure, making sure that our riders have the best opportunity to be the best that they can be, so best coaches, best technology, vehicles, the whole environment. And living in Lucca in Italy, where we base for 7 months of the year, is fantastic for them, and so they're really loving life there. And but the pressure is on, and making history has never been easy, and these guys have really stood up to the task, which is fantastic.
Talk about those 11 races that you won this year. We're no longer just a team that's there to compete. We're actually a team that's making podium finishes.
Absolutely. And last year we kind of went into the year as our first year in the second division of world cycling to try and build a brand, and then we won one of the biggest races in the world, Milan-San Remo, in March. And then this year is our second year. We go there as a favorite to win races. So instead of trying to build a brand and build strong riders, we actually ended up being the favorites within a year and 18 months of just being in that environment. So it's great. And now going to the Tour of Spain, if we do well there, now we will go to the Tour de France next year. So that's kind of like our path is on a fast track, and our riders are feeling the pressure, but they're building well. And today getting a second place, just 2 weeks out of one of our biggest goals, in our short livelihood as a team is fantastic. So we're definitely on track and very excited.
Of course, La Vuelta, as you said, as big as it is, how has the team been preparing? And obviously they're going to be needing a lot of BMT come Spain.
Absolutely. We took July off when the Tour de France was on. Our team took a break, and we spent 15 days now at high altitude in Livigno at a ski resort in Italy, which sounds fantastic. So they were at high altitude training for 15 days and doing lots of mileage, and now we're racing Tour of Denmark, and then next week Vuelta Burgos, Tour of Norway. So we've got a few stage races as final preparation race for the Tour of Spain. And it looks like today with the second place, our BMT is coming good. So let's hope it comes good on the 23rd of August when we start La Vuelta Espana.
What do you think will be your biggest challenge going into Spain?
So I mean, it's a 3-week Grand Tour, 3-week stage race, so we want to get as many riders through the race as possible. We're probably going to take 60% of our team will be African and South African, which has never been seen in world cycling before at that level. So there's a lot of pressure on the guys. A lot of them have never ridden at that level and for that amount of time. So it's just to nurture the guys through it. You make sure that our staffing component is really, really strong and supportive of the team. And we're hoping to focus on stage wins in the first 10 days and to try and get a big result out of the way early, and then let the guys try and get through the event as unscathed as possible and really strong towards the end to finish strong and to be really representative in the race.
Who will captain the team?
The captain will probably be Gerald Cielik, who's one of our really strong international riders. So we've used international riders to mentor our South African and African team, and so Cielik, he's done many Grand Tours before. Yes. I mean, he's finished second in the final stage of the Tour de France before and been a world champion. So he's the guy he's very calm and very positive with the team. So he'll definitely lead the team and mentor them through the race come 23rd of August.
Are there a lot of youngsters in the team, or a lot of youngsters coming through into the team?
We are the second youngest team in world cycling today. And our riders are young in age and very young in experience. So it's kind of like a double negative, but in there is the positives of youth and enthusiasm and just that will to die every day to try and perform and do well. So that's a good and a bad thing. But we have lots of young riders wanting to come through. I think our riders have inspired many South Africans and Africans wanting to get onto the team. So we see a huge amount of riders wanting to aspire to be a part of our team, and that's great for us.
You don't really want to go to the negative because this is such a positive story, but it's quite unfortunate that doping has sort of taken the headlines in cycling. How do you, and of course with Daryl Impey coming out into the headlines again, how do you as a team principal sort of counter that? How do you make sure that the team is straight?
So we've got great support in terms of our infrastructure around it and our medical team that supports our riders. I mean, the athlete is always hugely at risk in terms of what they buy over the counter. So we ban all of that kind of stuff within our team, and we have a fantastic process. But we're also a team that's not, there's not such high pressure to perform. We're a team that races for Qhubeka, to put kids onto bikes. So, the more successful the team is, the more money we can raise to put and do better for other people, which is fantastic. So I don't sit with a rider saying, if you don't win today, you don't have a job. That's not a discussion that we have, and that doesn't create that culture of wanting to take a shortcut to try and be successful. We race to put kids on bikes. That's what we're about, and so that means it's good for us. We don't seem to have those problems, and long may that last.
You actually talk about that kind of pressure, and that pressure is in every cycling team. They sort of, the cyclists get 2-year contracts and they have to perform immediately. How do you get rid of that kind of pressure within cycling?
Yeah, so I think it's in every sport. There's always a pressure to perform. I'm surprised more coaches don't dope in other sports because if they don't perform, the coaches get fired. But that's a joke. But no, I think we have a fantastic environment in our team. Social media is massive around our team, so we drive a lot of people to follow our team because what it races for and stands for, and it's not about the individuals in the team. It's about the project that we race for, and we want people to support our team because of that, and because it's moving Africa forward, and it's not only about the individuals in the team, which is unique in sports teams because most people follow sports teams because of the individuals that are in it and the brands of those individuals, and we see it differently, and our riders see it differently too. So they're here because they want to make a difference not only to themselves and to their performances, but also to people on the ground, and that takes away the pressure to that their jobs are on the line if they don't perform, and that's unique, and that keeps us safe.
Just very lastly, what does the future for MTN Qhubeka look like?
We obviously the next month is critical for our future involvement in Grand Tours and our future image in the world of cycling, so that's important. But we are making many changes into next year to try and get more depth into the team and to go for the big Tour de France bid in 2015. And let's hope we get that right, and we hope South Africa supports us.
Absolutely, wish you all the best, and we're definitely excited about all these endeavours.
Thank you very much.